second generation Leaf. So in Tokyo, we really wanted to show what's going to be the brother for the Leaf in the near future. So we did the IMx. It's a crossover. So we take the Nissan Intelligent Mobility and we give it a more SUV presence, a higher ground clearance, but still this aesthetic of technology, aerodynamics, but all in a more strong presence. What's happening in the next generation of EV platforms is, yes, the tires and the wheels are getting a little bit bigger. Also, the cabin is moving more forward, and the front volume is shrinking because of the EV motors are generally small, and the wheelbases can be long. And because these are the benefits that we are reaching with the new platform. And then when you open the doors, it has a super flat floor that creates more of a living room feeling, which works super well with autonomous driving. So when you do the autonomous driving 2 level, where the steering wheel collapses in and you take a more relaxed posture, the super flat floor helps you feel more like a living room experience. There's 2 realities that are happening. It makes it a little difficult, but it's exciting at the same time. We're able to do more. So we can make cars with hands-off and all of this autonomous driving, and we don't need the side mirror now with the camera technology and the ability to stitch cameras together. So the cameras in the B-pillar with the cameras in the fender can create this amazingly wide view that much better than a side view mirror. But regulations and governments are always a little bit slower than technology. So, but I think eventually, especially when the safety benefits of technology are shown, the governments usually follow. CES now has become the stop right before Detroit. Because here, all the things that are inside these concept cars are actually here with our suppliers, the screen technology, the autonomous driving technology, the brain activity technologies, that all of these things that are merging the human with the automobile is on display here at CES. Because when you start looking at even the way we can do with headlamp technologies, there's a smart adaptive headlamps where the signature is also a low beam, fundamentally changes the face construction. Also aerodynamics, because we don't have an engine, we can take the wind and it goes between the wheel and the body, and it changes fundamentally the architecture of the car. And then also the very sleek upper with the glass. Some things are just fundamental engineering improvements. Our engineers are able to make a seamless car. And when you add seamlessness and technology of EV and autonomous driving, it's a revolution for the car industry. At the end of the day, with an EV, the battle is how long between the charges. So the aluminum is the easy one, but also other kind of materials, especially with the interior. A lot of people assume that the metal part is the heaviest, but actually when you add up all the components, all the little plastic parts and the seats and all of these, there's a lot of weight that advances in material sciences can help dramatically. So what's happening is that, electric vehicles are actually very passionate when you drive them. I know the idea seems environmental, but the actual feeling, especially next generation cars, this has more torque than a GTR. So for those people who really love driving, they shouldn't necessarily turn their back on EV until they drive it. And but yeah, I personally love cars. I love designing cars, and but I don't find much difference between designing the next GTR, wink wink, and designing an electric car. I love both of them. Today we're showing a brain-to-vehicle, which is actually a technology that's developed that anticipates the kind of reaction of the human brain even before they're aware. And then also in here, there's a lot of autonomous drive technology that we have, and the seats move, and also all the screens, 180-degree screens. So all the things here at CES are living inside of IMx. And here's where you see one of the biggest things, where the battery, our engineers were able to package all the batteries within this space, which allowed us to have a completely flat floor. So you have the feeling it's part automobile, but it's also part living room, because when you're in hands-off mode, you have this ability to feel more in a lounge environment where you're talking to the person next to you and you're still watching the road and you're still paying attention, but you're also doing other things. You know, when I took over from Shiro, my boss, I don't know if because I'm not Japanese, I'm a Latin guy, as you know. I had this feeling that I want to do my research. I've been in the company 30 years, but we started this exercise globally, all my studios, and to find the DNA of Japan and some interesting things. We discovered something called Ma. Ma is the mastery of the empty space. And I, to be honest, I love this. So how, the mastery of the empty space means, how can you make openness so powerful by the very selective use of elements? Not everywhere, just powerful elements. So this open feeling, but then the focus is really on this technology area. So we're concentrating our energy into certain area, and the rest is open and sense of cocoon and harmony. That's how it is. I mean, in Japanese culture, they believe that it's almost like the ryokan, but also imagine a museum space. It's completely white floors everywhere, but there's something red, a small thing in the middle, that you make sure that object is so strong that the empty space has a beauty because of that object. And that's what's happening here. And in Detroit, we show another one, Infiniti, and a Nissan one, completely different one. And so you'll see how we are incorporating Japanese DNA for Infiniti, and Nissan is different. For Nissan side, because I'm in love with the period when the center of government moved from Kyoto to Tokyo. It created a cultural revolution, a kind of Bauhaus modernism. Okay. So I feel this is Nissan, because for the Japanese people 400 years ago, designed objects was available to the middle class, to everyone. And I feel this kind of alignment with our company and that. So it's called Ikina. I feel that this feeling of such high level of design that's very minimal but very powerful is Ikina sense. But it's beautiful. I mean, even the very minimal, it's the beauty of my Japanese team is how they can do something intensely that looks like it was done lightly.